Three, two, one. Hi, how are you? Hi, my name is Christi, and welcome to this first podcast. Maybe I'm starting. I'm an artist, and I have a whole story to tell. And I just thought about the idea always as an artist, like talking about something that could just be something for someone who really needs. And I think that back then I was never in a position that I could just like give peace to someone. But now is like the moment, and I don't feel like ready at all, because for me it's just something that I am discovering right now. And it's not discovering maybe, but just experimenting something new for the first time in my life, or something real, to be honest, because I think that's the word. And yeah, well, here it is. And you're probably wondering why the name, like, I'm an artist, but God, and what does he has to do here? So that's the reason why I decided. And I decided, I think like God put this in my heart just to do, because I think that artist world is just a little bit confusing, to think that the presence of God is like in between the artistic world. And I think that's what I want to discover, because I believe that for a long time, like, I thought that God was never be like possible to be present in the artistic world, in the creative world, because it's something that I believed to. And yeah. But just for the beginning, I would like to introduce myself. You might listen my accent, so of course I'm not English speaker. I speak Spanish. I'm Peruvian, but I live in France. And so there I was thinking what was going to be like the best language, maybe. And I think God put this in my heart, like, say, probably for the moment it's better for you to speak in English, because Spanish, it's my natal language, but I think I don't speak it really well, as I speak too fast. And French, it's so confusing for me. I don't feel free yet to express myself, as it's kind of different things. So I feel so comfortable in English. Maybe it's not like a native person, but I feel free. I can express myself. I can think in the same time I'm speaking. So I think it's great. And I think it's just the way that I can possibly like reach other people, which is my goal right now. I don't care about followers. What I mean is just that the message I want to speak, I want to say it louder. I would like to just reach more people. I'm here just to tell you that artistic world doesn't have to be that painful. I always believed that, like, being an artist, or we artists, we're just so sensitive to things, and we overthink things. And I think that's our gift, so that we can create things through paint and through pain. And guess who also works through pain? God. And I think that God is just so creative in those moments, because that's the moment where he can reach us. But that's the whole point, and it's another story. But I want to tell you today is just that God is not what we have heard about. God is not what I think bad experiences at church and with Christian people also we might have experienced. I was never comfortable about the idea of hearing about God because I always thought that God was something that will just kill my dream of being an artist. Actually, it was not my dream being an artist, but just to wish that I would work with art. And it just was because someone told me at a church when I was just so young that said like artistic work is not for you. Like as a Christian, is not like don't you ever think about it. I was like, I'm creative. I love art, and why would God just like give me this talent and then just shut it down? But it is not what it is. And so how did I get here? Like how did I get in the point that I would have just like talk about God, just like thinking or just the idea of God. And of course I've been going through a lot those years, this last year, all these last years. And when I moved to France, I always wanted to shut it down the way that I wanted to not accept that I had many things in my life, many wounds that I didn't want to really like open and examine everything, because that's what the world tells you about. Like, just get over it. Like, I don't know, like you're so strong, which is true. We are strong and we can make things. It's just that God make it a lot more lighter in life. And I never wanted to believe in that way because like the world. We don't think about it at first time. And when I arrived to France, I was like, I've never like thought the idea really like I was excited about the way of moving out, like getting out from my house, because I was feeling like in Peru I was not able to just like think about a life back there. Like I thought I was like going to live with my mom every moment or forever. And when I saw this opportunity, I was like, maybe would it be possible to grow really? And I think it was. I mean, even thought like there, I think God just bring me here, but I just didn't want to listen. And so I made my life in some ways that might be very disorganized. And my dream was like, I wanted to live like close to the Alps, but for some reasons, some province in France, I just like had to just my desperation. I think I chose what was easy, and I moved to Clermont-Ferrand, which is a little city that, I mean, it was not my first option, but I was just scared. So I made decisions based on emotions, and this emotion was fear. And I moved there. And I had a lot on me. I was just mad at the world. I was sad. I wanted to be just like, I wanted to give this image of me, of being sweet or being kind, but I was sad and mad all the time, like all the time. And I met my ex-partner, my ex-husband, and I thought like he was going like, I mean, like he's just a beautiful person, and I think I gave the responsibility to him that he could just like help me through all what I was going on. But it was not his responsibility, and neither was mine about his burden. And but like the relationship was just like so sweet, so beautiful. But you know, when someone tells you that in the relationship you just meet everything, some like things you don't like about yourself, things that you don't like about someone, and all your wounds from the past just comes up. So that's what happened. And I have to confess something, and I think I'm really ready to tell about it, is that I've been struggling since I was little with suicidal thoughts, since I was just a teenager, maybe. I believe, I'm pretty sure about it. I've heard people with that, my ex-partners also, because they knew. And I always thought that I was a burden to my parents, to my ex-boyfriends, that I was never enough. And living like that when you're a teenager is just horrible. And now I can picture that right now, and I think it's even worse because I think the world is getting worse. And what I see in social media is just like, I feel sad for the new generation that is just right now. But back then I was struggling a lot with myself. I was so hard on myself. And I do not blame anyone, because now that I see this right now, it's like, it's no one's fault. Actually, it's just evil. And I think my identity was just based on what I thought of me, like just imagining the things that were just not true about me. And also that, unfortunately, at school I was bullied for my physical, for my appearance. And at home I was alone, and I didn't even like wanted to talk about myself, like really, like reality, because I always had to just like picture this image of a perfect girl in front of my parents. But I mean, it's just sad. And also just like saying the idea that I met God in an environment that was just like, you know, like very religious way, even though it was like Christians. I met God in a way that you have to do this and not that. And it's not that. So heading to the future, to get to right now, to the present. So this last relationship was everything to me, and it came to a very big end because we broke up. He broke up with me, and just before that, on July of last year, I still think about it, like why, but it doesn't matter anyway. But I just think that I get so dominated by my emotions because I felt like I'm always misunderstood, which it is not. It's just that I never learned how to express myself, how to express my emotions. It's like, or maybe I'm too intense, or maybe I just like got I just save everything for me, and then when I have everything on the top, I just explode. So that's why I think I was always misunderstood, because I never knew how to really talk about my emotions. And just like one day, one of those moments, I I felt like I was nothing. Like I felt like everything was just like falling apart, and then the only way that I could just stop this big confusion of my life, I decided to just like cut my wrist. And when I saw the blood everywhere, God, that I just like I asked for forgiveness instantly, like instantly, to my mom, to my dad, and of course God. Because even though I just like had an image about him wrong, in a wrong way, I knew that there was a God above all. And so that was my button, or maybe just was just like the button before the button. And then my ex partner just like helped me. He grabbed me, he took me to the hospital, and then after that, I thought that things were just like going to go better, because we just hit the emotional thing. But it got worse. And on December, I just thought the idea that, okay, it's been a while, like I need to go to church, like not because I think that church is going to save me, but I never had a community here in France, like a real one, like good friends. I did have, like, I do have, I made some friends, like in the end, very few, but not just like, like the ones that you can lean on with all your burden, and they won't just like, they won't say to you like, oh, it's too much, I won't take it. So I knew I had to go to church, and I asked him to go, and we went together. And then in December, something changed on me. Like I just wanted just to run through towards God and to know who He is. And the reason I say that I only touched the before moment I arrived to the bottom, it's because the bottom was to lose my ex-partner when we ended that relationship, because I adored him, like in a way that I adored him. I thought that I just like could change all the bad things in him, but I can't play God, and that's what changed on me. So on January, I just started to read the Bible, and it just changed my life. It just changed the perspective of life. And when people say that Bible is life, it's because it is still true. Like there's so much truth there. And I was praying to God, like I wanted to my situation to change, but I never imagined like to change in that way. But I don't think, and listen to me, I don't think God is a God that destroys or tears apart couples or tears apart everything. I don't think that is God. but he can transform this towards the purpose of each one, because he respects our decisions. Like, he's just such a gentleman, I think. And that's not what I think, it's what I read. And when I read it, I just see, like, he's a gentleman, and he's not going to make you love him. If not, it's just, that's religion, but we will speak about it in another time. So I started to read the Bible, then he took the decision to finish. It hurt, but I was hurting him too, because we were just like in the different perspectives of life, and I still love him so much. Like, my heart is still like, it. But I'm just learning a lot about how to love him with the same love that Jesus has for him. And I pray for that one moment that just like he will just look up to God and just find his identity in him. So when that relationship ended, I had to just like get out of the house, because if you've been through there, living with someone that doesn't look at you in the same way just breaks our hearts. And so I called people from church. They helped me a lot, like since the first night. And the first night was just like so surprising, because I think God made me move like I was never before. And the first night I ended up in a Catholic group of prayer, and to be honest, I was always like a little bit like that with Catholic people. But that night I just felt so good there. So good. I was just like crying all the time. I was destroyed. I was like in the middle of people I didn't know, and I was just crying so much. Like, wow. And then I sleep in that community, and then the next day I came back with the idea that maybe he would just like change his mind, and it wasn't like that. So I kind of just spent the last days just like trying to change his mind, but it wouldn't be like that possible. And I think just God showed me his love so much in the next weeks, where I just like trying to find a home here in the city that I am right now in Lyon. And I mean, so many miracles, because I was like not in a position, when you're living in France and you're an immigrant, you just need a lot of papers to do. You just need a lot of things to do before just like taking a lodgement to take a place where you can live. But God has been just like so good that people were just like doing everything that I could just find a place to live. And just like not skipping, but just like using some power they have just like to help me to find a place to live. And that's what happened. And just 2 weeks after, I was just like moving. And to be honest, it's been hard. So hard. And but I think that's the moment where God like puts you, well, he doesn't put you in a desert, but he used this kind of desert that you're into when you have like a lot of problems where you don't see any exit. He just used that to talk to you. And the best way to talk to you is just through the Bible. And I know that like this book, it's been like so misunderstood. I know that religion has, I mean, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus himself, God himself criticized religion. And it's because, as I said, he cannot obligate you to love him. He doesn't like that. He wanted it to be a decision of you. But it only happens when you meet him. And the only way to meet him is through the Bible. And just going through a lot. Like, pain is the best way to get so vulnerable in front of him or to meet him. Since I moved here, it's been hard. Like, I cannot say, like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to read the Bible. Well, it was never like that. I was like crying all the time. Every night was just a crying, like, unstoppable. And I said, like, would be me, I would just like meeting boys, like that's one of the things that I used the most, because I was accept looking to be accepted by boys mostly. And how limited is that, like just trying to be accepted by boys. And so I just grabbed my Bible and I started to read, but also just like praying, like everything that came in my mind was just like I was praying. And then there in my mostly pain, when I never where I didn't have like the words to explain that I was in so much pain, there I met the Holy Spirit. And I mean, that's the best gift that God, that Jesus, that the sacrifice of Jesus just like let us know, like that we have the Holy Spirit. But I know that that's sometimes it's incomprehensible when you don't know, or where you don't not a believer, to be honest. But there's something powerful, so much powerful in God's kingdom, in God's world. And yeah, and it's been quite a journey. Like I didn't have a job, I didn't have a lot of things, like I was lost. No job, not a real home. My art work was just like I was not creating all this time. At the same time I was trying, but I was getting tired. Anyway, I felt like I was losing everything. Like I lost everything. My ex-partner, who was like the world to me, I'm alone in this country. I don't have like a real job. I have my art, but I'm not capable to create. So it was just like nothing. But when I started to read the Bible, I read Ose. I don't know if it's like quite right translated in English. I have to say this, but it's so important that I've been in therapy since last year after the incident happened. So I need to just like clarify this because it's really important. God works through pain, yes, but he also uses people to help people, and to see a psychology is really important if you're having like suicidal thoughts. It is so important. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. So keep it going. I'm just going to try to find Oseas. There you are. So my psychologist, she is a Christian woman, so she kind of showed or she just shared with me a verse of the Bible, and at the moment I just didn't really realize that. So it's when Israel just like was having a lot of gods and was lost, and I just love that God is like, is like a jealous husband, not in a toxic way. But he's jealous with us because he loves us so 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 much that he we are his children, and that's the way, that's the best way to see God, as a father, not as something like we just need to like praise him without understanding. I mean, when you understand that he loves you so much as a child, you just want to just like be with him. And I can't express really to you because it's my experience of how I met him, but I'm sure like I can't convince you. The one who is going to convince you is him himself. And I'm just like sharing my story in a way that telling you that there's hope in grief, there's hope in pain, there's just God, and God is not what people maybe told you about. And yeah, so back into the Bible. I will take Israel to the desert there, and with a lot of love, I will make them to just be more in love, or to fall in love with me. And I love to compare this verse in a lot of languages, in a lot of Bibles, and I really loved more the French version and the English version originally. Wait, we'll just like search for it. Therefore, I'm now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. That's where I was searching the word. Therefore, I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Tenderly, tenderly, tenderly. And I think in French is more like I will whisper to her heart. And I just love it. Like I reread it like a lot of times, and I was like, wow, like oh my God, like it was just like that. Like I wanted, like I idolize a relationship. I wanted it so bad. I wanted like to be the perfect wife. I wish I could, but I couldn't. I wanted to find a job. I couldn't find a job there because it was not my place, and I was just like doing a lot of things in my own way. But the thing is that God put those dreams in my heart because there is a reason. It's just that I got misunderstood. I got like I wanted to do it all in my way. But what did it bring into me? Just desperation, anxiety, panic attacks, and a lot of thoughts that I'm not good enough. I'm not I can't do this, which it is not true. It was just like not the way that God wants me to be prepared for the dream that he wants me to have. And most of it because there's a purpose behind all of it. And when I met this verse, I was just like like was my first baby step like into really meet who is God. And then I started like like the Bible is not like a normal book that you can read from the beginning to the end. Actually it just starts in the middle, which is the New Testament. And And there's so much life, and there's where you meet Jesus. All the life of Jesus just like begins there, and there's a lot of perspectives about it, but I can't tell you like just all right now. It's a lot of information, but I think that God speaks through the Bible. That is so true. Like, if you have, how to say it, like, it's more easy to meet God when you are going through problems, and there's nothing wrong about it. Like, God loves to connect in these moments because he knows that your heart is vulnerable, and there's where he can just like touch you and hold you and and love you and like kiss you and just like that. And if you don't believe in God right now, if you're watching this or just like hearing, I mean, there's nothing wrong about it. Like, I mean, in the Bible, there's a lot of things. Like, Jesus was just like doing a lot of miracles, and people were like, "But who are you? Are you the Messiah?" No, but the Messiah is not like, no, you cannot be the Messiah. That's not you. But he was just like doing a lot of miracles. Like, I'm just showing you. Like, I won't tell you if I am or if I'm not. What I'm asking you is just like to believe and to just like trust me. I'm telling you the truth. So it's something that happens actually right now. Like, I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe in a God that church and the religion just mixed everything. And also maybe I think it's more the selfishness and the hunger for power about church and religion, religious church, let's say in it that way. Maybe to control people, maybe to seek more power and try to conquer countries like it's been in the past. So I think just God was just so misunderstood about it. He never wanted war to happen, never wanted sickness to arrive into our lives, but it happened, and God uses that to still doing miracles until now, and it happens, and I've seen it. I've seen, and I'm living it mostly, and I mean it's not possible. Like my past Christy would just like still crying for that. I mean, I cry because it's just a process. Want to clarify that, but I see life completely different. And I don't feel like I don't need a man. I mean, like right now, the only thing that I want is just God, because I just like, I'm being filled every day. I seek, like I try to search Him. I, I'm being filled by love, and that's why I say like God is love. Like love conquers everything, and that's God, and I love it. And I've been creating lately, but it's let's say that's another story. But I've been able to create. I love nature, and I've seen that nature is just like God speaking to me through nature. It's like, look, the flowers, the plants that you thought they were going to die because they moved here. Look what I'm doing. Like, they're just growing everywhere in my room, and I love it so much. And that's how like there's so much power in the name of Jesus that things can come alive. And that's been my life. And I can't convince you, as I said, that there's God in my own words. Maybe you are not prepared yet. Your heart is not prepared yet. But I pray for you. I pray. And if you're my friend right now, just I promise that I've been praying for you so much that the same love that I'm receiving, I wish that for you. And if you're not my friend, I wish that also for you. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know what title I'm going to put to this podcast, because I just wanted to share my first baby step about who am I? Who am I? And that's what I'm discovering. But I wanted to call this podcast I'm an Artist, but God gave me something even more beautiful than being an artist, because being an artist is just a gift. It's a beautiful gift because God gave us that heart of being sensitive, creative, because it's the same heart that He has. And it's just so beautiful to feel the world in this perspective, because each one of us is just kind of like, we are so unique, we are different, and He uses art. But just that our actual world, in artistic world, we have an image of God that God is just like not like that. And that's what I want to discover with you with this podcast. Like, I'm an artist, but God created us for something else also. Like, God has a purpose for that talent that you have. I'm an artist, but God redefines me even better than an artist. And yeah, that's what I wanted to bring to this podcast, to this video, to this Christi. I'm still the same Christi. I'm still Christi that it's just messy, loudy sometimes. I'm still the one that sometimes I just feels a lot, but I don't have to just like, I don't have to feel guilty for feeling a lot. I feel that God gave me that sensitivity to just discover a purpose. And I'm pretty sure it's going to surprise me. But here I am. Here I am to encourage you that if you're just like having some difficulties in life, like you're just searching for answers, just like, I know it's difficult, I know it's just like, it's hard, like, I know it's hard, but just like look through a Bible that maybe it's like an new translation in your language, and just believe me that there's a lot of life here going on. And yeah, just start from the middle, start from the second part of the Bible, and I think it's the easiest way to meet God's heart. And just don't take it for what people say, don't take it for bad experiences, just let God talk to you alone, because that's what He does. He's just a gentleman just waiting for you just to say, hey God, I want to talk to you. You know what, I'm not sure if I don't believe really in you or something. I believe in nature. Maybe you believe in nature, maybe you believe in universe, but just let me tell you that that's just the part of God. It's just like, if you don't want to call God for His name, it's just limiting His power. Universe and everything, it's His creation, but you are limiting into something that He created, when you can just like go to the biggest source and just trying to meet Him. So yeah, that's me. That's like, I'm an artist, and but God, there's a lot to say after that. Just like, I will try just to share. I'll just think what to share. All I want is just the Holy Spirit just talking through me, just guiding me in this project that it's happening. And yeah, so if you are happy to see me just talking with this, yeah, just write me. Thank you guys for hearing this piece of my story. I hope that you can find peace in life, and don't forget that there's a God that really loves you so much, and He's just waiting for you to look at Him. That's it. Bye.